Okay, so today we will be discussing another theory of justice, that is that of John Rawls. Last class we started with an example. Fine. That example you cannot write. What I discussed in the last half an hour or something, is what is known as original position or veil of ignorance. The terms veil of ignorance or original position in John Rawls' theory of justice. You don't need to write that story. It's like, John Rawls conducts a thought experiment. Thought experiment is in pursuit of, finding out some eternal or objective principles, universal principles for distributive justice, how it shall be made. See, if you are asking a 100% capitalist, thus a free market advocate, you will be saying that open competition is the best, the most fair way for distribution. The principle of open competition is the one for bringing in distributive justice. Everywhere is there. Any policy that is being created, there will be some underlying principle, just like in ethics. Even in international trade, I don't know how, in one among the principles of WTO, MFN status. MFN status means you need not. Most favored nation means most loving nation. MFN status means you shall not discriminate among the nations in the context of free trade. Everywhere there is principle. When you were having a law like in soon after the independence, soon after India became a republic, Untouchability Prevention Act. What is the underlying principle behind it? No person shall be discriminated. Every person shall have dignity. Likewise, we are in pursuit of some principles of justice, some principles that can be the ground of distributive justice, right? Maximum happiness of maximum number of people. If it is a principle, if you are creating a policy, whether you will accept it or not, this is what we have been asking. Last class means utilitarian principle. Say 99 people are happy, one person is not happy because he is leading a kind of, without any dignity he is living. You say that principle of distributive justice cannot be tolerated, right? Capitalism, open competition. Open competition means it can be anything. Maybe it's like one person out of the 100, one of them will be, super talented. That's fine. They are working, hardworking, and majority of the wealth or the positions through that competition. Just think about the example of, tennis. Between, if you take the history, between 5 to 10 people, majority of the grand slams or major tournaments are there. See, not a critic. It happens in a competition. It happens. Likewise, in the context of wealth means capitalism has its own. If you see the implication, I won't say anything as shortcoming. It's implications you see. These implications, if you feel like it is unjust, you say that this principle is also unjust. We need to invent some other principle. What is the problem with utilitarianism? We may say that if that one person is having some sort of dignified existence, let inequality remain as a issue. It's a natural product of competition. But one of them is like a slave in that society. Nobody is bothered about it. No, we cannot allow that. There is something wrong with that principle. Capitalism, fine, open competition. But Inequality can be justified as a kind of competition. Again, this idea comes now. In utilitarianism, if we are unable to tolerate the the deprivation, ultimate extreme deprivation of one person, capitalism, it can be more in an open competition. It can be more. So we would support free market as well, completely free market. Simply asking, if you go by pakka socialism, see that also it won't incentivize. You can't completely do away with the idea of liberty. People love to grow. People love to make use of their talent so that they can be better. That kind of inequality as well, equality as well, maybe we feel cannot be justified. Okay. So suppose before, let's say, forming some principles, let the as a kind when a state is being formed, what does the constitution represent? We, the people of India, whatever principles are there, it's a kind of, so symbolically, it's a kind of contract or agreement between the people who are going to abide by that constitution, who are going to obey that constitution. Any law created on the basis of this, rule created on the basis of this, everything will be consistent with that, but we are going to follow that. We, the people of India, have created. वो ये है ना, in principle तो यही होता है. So before that, there was no constitution. People became part of it. Symbolically, it means we are going to follow those principles, and those principles or that entity we are creating, the state is going to give something in return. Okay, underlying principles are there. Likewise, you are, going to be part of a system. We need some principle. We shouldn't have any kind of biases. How to invent, how to discover those principles? Discover those principles means, when we study civil service foundational value, if you have studied, or in future if you are going to study, usme dekho, there will be neutrality. Neutrality value means impartiality, objectivity. Or even if you consider the case of umpire or a referee in a cricket or football match, it's like irrespective of their nationality or something, they have to act. But likewise, if you think, we forget who we are, we forget who others are. In that condition, how we are going to create some principles. Fine. This is how, principle means there cannot be any sort of bias. If there is no bias, if you are thinking as rational agents and moral agent doesn't mean you will be always empathetic to others. Human beings will have some element of self-love. We are not overestimating the human this character, human traits. Neither we are overestimating nor we are saying like human beings are, totally bad. Self-interest will be there. Some element of self-interest will be there. Or I would say human beings will have some sort of rational self-interest. This is how John Rawls somehow conceives human character. Why? Because these kind of human beings, when they are about to start a contract, form a system in which they are going to be part of, they don't know where they stand. Only thing is that in their character, they have some rational self-interest. Okay. You can argue who told that human character is like that. That we can write as criticism. Always in this socio-political philosophy, what I have felt is any ideology, let it be Marxism, let it be Gandhism, let it be, this positive liberty, one way or the other, it can be narrowed down to that thinker's conception of how a human is. Maybe it's like human may not be intrinsically good, not intrinsically bad. Mahatma Gandhi believes that they are intrinsically good, just like briefly we discussed in anarchy. There are thinkers like Nietzsche. We are not studying him. So, different character traits, right? So here means one way or the other, John Rawls' conception is like, that's why I gave you that example. You are about to join a company, you are about to join, somebody is going to join a job, your friend is about to, so अब से if your friend is asking you, your friend is very close to you. उनको ये लगेगा कि बाकी तो you won't have any, you don't know others, you won't have any enmity towards others, ऐसे कुछ नहीं है. Our idea will be like, yeah, you should progress. In case of a competition, means you are somehow you are ready for a fair competition. But because of that fair competition, ये तो नहीं होना चाहिए कि always comes in the last, and okay, last भी आने दो, no problem with that. But you should have a dignified existence, right? This is the way we will be thinking. So need not go into there, but here the conception of human character is like this. We cannot completely falsify it. Okay. When they are in discussion, they don't know anything, they are about to be part of it. This is known as, they are in some sort of wheel. They are covered by ignorance. Ignorance means what? They don't know anything about themselves, they don't know about others. The only thing is that natural instinct. We can presume that some kind of self-interest, rational self-interest should be there. What is the fear of them? Fear of this person. Suppose I am, if we are going for open competition, because of that open competition, if I am going to lead a kind of, if all the salary will be, if all the wealth will be going to one or two persons who are more than me, because we don't know that. So let's think, shall we not share? The idea will be like, see, I have the passion to work. If I am working, I need to grow, I have some self-interest. That should not be missed out due to, complete cooperation. OB, that will be also be getting, right, some kind of self-interest. And if you are thinking about utilitarianism, the case is like, mm, let 99 people be happy, one person, if he's not at all happy, if he's been exploited by the other, if that is going to be me. Occasionally we think, whenever we are going to be part of some process, some competition, knowingly or unknowingly, we will be fixing our, we'll be doing that thought experiment. If I am that successful, if I am that failure, वो तो हम सोचते हैं. So that abstract thought, okay. Utilitarianism means also, yes, वो principle भी नहीं चाहिए. So it's like, I don't need socialism. I don't need complete, market economy. I don't need utilitarianism. This will be the thought, no? If you are going to that. Mm, okay. So this is the rational self-interest. So what will be the solution? People will be knowing what will be the solution. So first of all, there will be different kind of social identities. Na? Maybe language, gender, religion, caste, different kind of identities will be there. You don't know where you belong. First of all, will be feeling like, it will be rational to feel like, see, no person shall be discriminated on the basis of birth. Everyone will agree. This is typical to the Western. It comes from the US, John Rawls. And this is strictly, this principle of justice is simply, is an is an alternate to the prevalent sources of discussion. Let's say free market economy, socialism, utilitarianism, right? It's a synthesis of everything. And how much liberty do you want? We'll say that, there shall be maximum liberty for freedom of speech and expression, right? Freedom of opinion, freedom to form civil society, right? Thoughts will be there. How far you need liberty? Let's say that maximum liberty that is consistent with the liberty of others. Why? Why we are thinking about others? Their maximum दे दिया, it should not violate what we discussed as the harm principle. You cannot harm others. Why we are saying that? Why not harm others? See, in ethics, in religion, there is an idea. Have you heard about the golden rule? Golden rule is in many places. Golden rule means it's the root of deontological ethics actually, or it is the root of the thought like why shall there be eternal values like equality, empathy, because we think from other perspective. If you are being asked a question, how how do you expect others to behave to you? We'll say certain things. So the next suggestion will be you should also behave in the same way to others. Right? You say that I don't like people, abusing me. Okay. So that will be the same for others. What this is the root of it, root of what you call Kantian ethics or in religion, everywhere it's there. Idea is there, कुछ quote भी है, do unto others. कुछ है मतलब है कि समझ में नहीं आएगा. Just like last year they asked a question in ethics of Thiruvalluvar's quote. आप देखना कि वो इसी तरह का है. Anyhow, so that means that is the root of it, golden rule. This is actually we are, deriving a golden rule. Means it's like if you expect others to behave with you in a particular fashion, I will also do the same. Likewise, what do you expect? I need maximum liberty. How far? There is a maximum liberty, full freedom. Okay, other people what they are thinking, I don't know. Like they may also think, आपका अंदर ये डर रहा है कि maximum liberty is given. So others, if they start abusing me, if they start harming me, so maximum, but it shall be consistent with the maximum liberty of others. We'll say ना, यही बोलेंगे. And you see certain, scenarios in other societies, like on the basis of birth, somebody's social position is fixed. ठीक है वो equality. Anyone will say it shall be open for all. You are in support of open, competition to supportive, no issue. So for competition, what do you need? There shall not be any kind of irrational restriction. Rational being, the person is thinking rational being. No, fine. And if you are being asked whether you will justify inequality or not, what will be the answer? Justification of inequality. Is it justified? Think from the perspective of, these contractors. Inequality, you won't justify. Totally. Inequality means no नहीं बोलने का है. Then what is the benefit of whatever we discussed till now? No, no, that inequality won't be justified in socialist thought. Even I would said that even a positive liberal also will justify that there is no issue. Inequality means it's a natural product of competition. Utilitarianism we won't justify 100%. Inequality will be justified to that extent. Which extent? The 10 people who are joining the department in the company, suppose your friend is going to be the last. You should also feel like I am part of that company. Na? उसके अंदर भी कुछ चाहिए, some element should be left. Competition is fine, but he should have something in him so that he can, get back, he can bounce back to that competition. Always there shall be that feeling, na, कि okay, I am there. देखा है ना, in sports, legendary players always make a comeback. Comeback means सब लोग बोलेगा कि यार उसका फॉर्म खत्म हो गया, उसका फॉर्म खत्म हो गया. Everyone, the entire media says. But they will have the conviction. Those who make comeback, they will have the conviction that, yes, now I am in a dignified state. There is no problem. I can, come back into that. There is no issue. Can everyone do like that? Not everyone can do like that. If because of competition, somebody is feeling like I am missed out, मतलब out of that dignity zone, out of that dignity zone. ये भी तो होता है ना. You are in the company, or that friend is in the company, 10th position always. The company is growing. Company was expecting these 10 recruitees to increase its profit by 100 units, but they are super talented. Many of them it got 200, and these super talented means they are appropriating 199 out of it. That's true. If it is a, but he is getting only one. Fine. So got it right. Thought process correct. Eh? Before formulating, I'm just setting the background. Setting the background means okay. Liberty means if you are thinking in that position, you will say maximum liberty which is consistent with the liberty of others. No person shall be discriminated. Inequality to that extent. Suppose you are comparing the whole society to a chain. It's a chain principle. Society to a chain. Where does the strength of that chain lie? Means, let's say, suppose it's the chain is equally strong. वो तो नहीं होगा. Society है. Society as a whole. If you are pulling that chain, के लिए क्या करना चाहिए? Why it shouldn't break? Strongest link, or if it is getting stronger, still it can break. No? Weakest link should not be weakest further. Weakest link should be strong to that extent that that chain is intact. The thought is like weakest link अगर टूट गया तो chain टूट गया बस. Similarly, the society, even if one person breaking chain और टूटने का मतलब ये होता है कि the weakest link is having nothing. He feels like I'm not part of it. That society is unjust. Think from that perspective. Okay, I'll give you another thought. Suppose there is a scientist, agricultural scientist. He happens to be, let's say, an entrepreneur as well. Entrepreneur means big agri company, something he's having. Very passionate, very passionate about the work. He invented something. He invented a kind of crop, a seed, rice, He has presented it into the ministry. Once this rice is introduced, there will be this much, 10% boost in the productivity. 10 means 10 times boost in the productivity. People will get nutrition. Something is introducing. This company will introduce. So let's think about the possibilities. One scenario is that once he is introducing, see, every policy when you are creating, when we say in India policy is created, law is created, what does the judiciary or the government think? The state, what does it think? Is it consistent with the basic principles of our constitution? Even in ethics as well, before do some act, they karne se whether it is consistent with some principles, basic principles. For the time being, don't ask the question whether we can find out that principles at all, whether there are objective universal principles at all. See, in life, one way or the other, we believe in them, right? Even in ethics as well, absolutism versus relativism is there. Just, you know, keep it aside. Here means Rawlsian thought means it's like, yes, we can able to reach a kind of, I would say, deontological approach only, just like Immanuel Kant. Immanuel Kant believes that there are universal principles. He won't advocate for relativism. Categorical imperative means, right act is a right act. कोई because नहीं इसमें right in itself बस everywhere it's so that is universal principle. Likewise, we are in pursuit of universal principle which can act as the foundation of the policies that they are going to create. This is we are in. We cannot accept utilitarianism. We are not into complete competition. We are not into the socialism. Here means they go principle. Okay. One scenario is that after the introduction of that crop or this policy, inequality is widening. Simply, inequality is widening. Is it unjust? Inequality is widening. Simply इतना ही बोल रहा हूँ. Is it unjust? You will ask further बोलो. Right? This is what you will be asking. Inequality is unjust means, suppose I am telling to a socialist, inequality. What he will say? तुरंत काट देगा बस. Out. If you are telling a negative liberal, inequality is widening, ठीक है यार, वो तो natural है. He is having talent, he is having freedom, he introduced it. वाइडन होने दो, क्या प्रॉब्लम है? आई डोंट फील इट एज अनजस्ट. फेयर फेयर कंपटीशन है तो, है ना? यस. व्हाट विल बी द थॉट? सपोज आउट ऑफ दिस पॉलिसी ये होगा कि इट्स लाइकली दैट द वन हु वाज अर्निंग 100 यूनिट्स is going to earn मिलियन. उसका 100 से सीधा मिलियन. ओके. एंड देयर आर अदर पीपल, मेनी पीपल. द लास्ट वन last one had, let's say, 1 rupee. Before that, he is having 1 rupee for leading a dignified existence. There is no problem with that. 1 rupee mein wo khush hai, no issue. In that 1 rupee he is capable of being in a good competition, even though inequality is there. He is satisfied, and it's like he can, come further. ऊपर आ सकता है. Because of this, 100 से million हो गया, and 1 rupee is having, he will get 2. पहले 1 था, now 2. One possibility. Is it just or not? Earlier, it was 100 minus 1 tha, between the first and the last. In between as well, there are many people. ऐसे कुछ नहीं है. But still in that one, whether that chain will break or not in 1 rupee, no, that is your presumption. Because he was having that much. And because of this inequality is widening, inequality ऐसे widen हो गया कि he got million, one of them got million. इसका जो है, because of this his talent, his hard work, that scientist, research scientist का talent and hard work, the one who was earning one, उसका 2 हो गया, बिना कुछ करके, without doing anything. You need only one to ensure that the chain is not breaking. Fine. It will be justified. Inequality will be justified to that extent that even the weakest link is having, something to cherish. Fine. Suppose इसका जो है टॉप पर्सन जो है उसका 100 था, 101 हो गया. That much. 100 to 101. Let's say the weakest link, he was having 1, वो 90 पैसे हो गया. Because 1 you need for that dignified, the chain is not breaking, 90 हो गया. That is unjust. You may feel like उसमें inequality means it increased, million times it increased, but the सबसे नीचे जो है position is not worsening, it's getting a bit better. What is the difference? Nearly a million difference between strongest and the weakest, but he is having that much to have a dignified existence. इसमें कि 101 and 90 पैसे ज्यादा कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ा, but because of this he is not having enough to lead a dignified life. Getting na? So the scenario is like, simply when you are about to join a company, you will feel like I need at least, शुरुआत में तो यही बोलेंगे, I need at least this much. Only after joining our thoughts will change. Only when we get to know about our position, only when we get to know that we are having better talent than others, we will start speaking that distribution shall be according to the merit rather than needs. Here means before that, in order to ensure objectivity, means somewhat like the golden rule, itna hai ki you just do a thought experiment. Had you been in that position, whether you will support, truth and non-violence, deontological ethics, a kind of that approach. Deontological means which it believes in universal principle of justice. तब हम बोलेंगे कि यार तब तो ट्रस्ट बोल के कोई चीज है ही नहीं. I need to love people saying truth to me. At times we will have issues with some of the close ones because when they lie, we blindly trust. When someone says something, making a promise means we trust. That's the reason we have to sometimes यार ऐसे करना नहीं चाहिए था. Means it's an end in itself. Their words are an end in itself. This is the root of ethics. That is Kantian thought when it gets similar thought when applied to the distributive justice है कि we are in pursuit of universal principle. आपको क्या चाहिए? I need maximum liberty that is consistent with the liberty of others. No irrational way of excluding any person from the competition. Inequality means inequality shall be justified. If I were that scientist, I need opportunity. Agar scientists say, if you are telling like, yeah, if you are bringing in this project, inequality will get further widened. His answer will be like, see, inequality will be widened, but the weakest link is getting better. And common consumer means he was spending 10 rupees per kilogram for rice. Now in 5 rupees he can get, and the level it is it is fortified rice or ज़्यादा nutrition भी मिलेगा. In lesser price I am inventing. So if the state is saying like no, वो project means it can create whatever say political repercussion हो सकता है, नहीं तो people will complain of chronic capitalism. ये सब क्यों सोचना है? I am having only good intentions. I love to innovate. This is the meaning of liberty. I am doing in my rational self-interest. Because of my rational self-interest, others are also getting benefited. Others' life are also. The thing is that from 100 to million I become, that is out of my hard work and talent. I am not doing anything harm, and in fact, others are benefited. उसका सोच ये होगा. But if the state is saying no, it gets widened. And एक ही you have million, the second one will be having only 1,000. Fear widened. Initial means nearly you were equal. Now we are widened. But you see, if you are asking others, means everybody's position got better because of that. This is actually a kind of justification for the what you call open market here. Competition. Competition is justified. Not open market, competition is justified. But when you think, because of this, the last one, think about utilitarian principle. The last one should not get worse. Last, uska soch kya hai? Whether he is having a dignified existence or not. Fine, just think about this. The rational self-interest everywhere, na? The laws. I gave the example of the traffic light. That's actually we are stopping because of rational self-interest. Any law will be understood like that. Individual liberty, community, and yeah, it is opposed to utilitarianism, no doubt. Think about that chain principle, idea of chain. Inequality is justified. Inequality is an outcome of liberty. But inequality can't go to that extent. People will have some minimum expectations, good expectations, minimum expectation. It shall not, go beneath that. Benefit of many. See, for example, in Green Revolution, if you say that broad food security, large farmers earned higher income, small farmers got poorer. What will John Rawls say? Unjust. It's injustice. Not even poor farmers, small farmers. One farmer, because of that, he lost relevance. It is not just. We may feel like is it not socialism considering everyone? No. Socialism means competition is not justified. Here, competition is justified. The cardinal principle is liberty only. See, utilitarianism, they go, nothing should be understood in black and white. But here, John Rawls considers utilitarianism will justify, or it will be, चलो कि चलो ठीक है, weakest link कोई issue नहीं है. Feels greatest happiness principle. Now you may ask, what is this minimum prospects? They go 100 to 1 million. Weakest person 1 to 2 rupees. उसका minimum prospects तो 1 rupees था. Now it is maximized. Two हो गया because of this system. Can he invent such a crop? नहीं. He is inventing, the person is inventing such a crop, as I was saying. इससे economies और skill भी हो सकती है. वो अपना rational interest में ही सोच रहा है. Suppose you create an equipment only rich can buy. अपने करोड़ों रुपए रख दिया उसका price. Or if you become more innovative, the same technology you further modified it, and also you are in such a position to sell it in 100 rupees. वो है कि you in millions people spend and आपने 100 लोगों को बेच दिया. Instead, you innovated and created something. In 100 rupees, you sold it to billions of people. In rational self-interest only is doing. But the case is that the people can make use of that technology. देखा है ना, स्कैन पे हर जगह चलता है. इफ यू सी इन द प्री कोविड एरा, यार हम लोग नहीं यूज करते थे, इवन दो इट वाज देयर. So that economic activity is going on not very quickly. People don't have to मतलब change नहीं रखना है वो सब. They are all the benefits. चल रहा है ना. At times we think like whether people will scan properly or not. मतलब कोई मतलब created I feel like I have scanned and given it. चल तो रहा है ना. Rational self-interest only. There is no any intent to cheat others to a large extent. Okay, come back. So this is the principle. USA is an example. You got now the example of the Green Revolution. What I told, it will be unjust, right? It's clear, no? USA, yeah, that's good. Here inequality is there, but better amenities. fine, it will be justified. So inequality in itself is not unjustified. ऐसे हो सकता है practically complete equal society, collective ownership. There again it goes. How what will be the human nature? Even though we are working in a group, times से लगता है ना. Even though it's a group work, this person is not contributing enough to that group. I am contributing more. So I shall have the more decision making power. Thoughts may come like that, even though you are in a, you are working in a non-profit way, but तो थॉट्स होता है कि यार ये कुछ नहीं करता है. आई एम वर्किंग द द होल आवर्स फॉर इट. Now when it comes to creating a, the decision making power, who shall be the captain of it, will say that I know better how that system functions. I am working more, why can't I get. यही होता है ना. This is basically individualism. Can we say that human beings are always, thing for cooperation, some kind of not competition, it's like some individualism will be there. Then only you feel like you are incentivized, self-actualized. When people compare the work culture in public and private sector, no, it has, there is no black and white separation. But private means if you are contributing big means there is possibility that you can go up the ladders quickly. क्योंकि if you are contributing in a big way to the company in which you are functioning, आपका जो senior है, who is bit much elder than you, उसका contribution आपसे कम है, you may go ahead if the company feels is good for that. But in public means the procedure will be established in such a way that everyone is part of it. According to see, it's not the money or the position. It's about the system matters. Okay. So this is so John Rawls' principle is like maximum liberty, no irrational equality, inequality. Sorry, on the basis of birth and all. Competition is there, but competition should not result in weakening the prospect of the weakest link. If the strongest link gets further stronger, there is no problem. Right? Okay. What do you feel actually? Is it more closer to capitalism or against it? Do you feel it like it's a kind of justification for the capitalist system, free market economy? I would say it's somewhat in the positive liberal zone only. In the modern way terms, it is, libertarianism. Liberalism, ancient, the earlier times when it was called positive and negative liberal, दोनों जो है libertarianism, individualism, and within that libertarianism, some people will have, more right. Right means more freedom. Liberal discussions में right liberal ये होता है कि और freedom चाहिए, less intervention. This is a kind of, left libertarianism. बस थोड़ा सा है कि you are bothered about the weakest link. I was discussing about Robert Nozick, no? उसका ये थॉट था कि even taxation is a kind of bonded labor. So okay, as an understanding leaning towards positive liberalism, you are not feeling it like socialism, no? No, you shouldn't feel so. So what will a Marxian or a socialist, Pakka socialist will say? Not the socialist in India, not the democratic socialist. Will feel like, yeah, this is actually, old wine in new bottle. But this is a kind of justification for capitalism only. You are justifying inequality only, nothing else. And from the perspective of a negative liberal as well, libertarian, I would say more right libertarian, तो बोलेगा कि why should the weakest link be this much cared about? Is it not distorting the market system? देखो, you are creating, somebody is coming up with a very good policy. And to say कि some people who feel like they will be adversely benefited. ये होता है ना, what is your minimum prospect? See, minimum prospect, okay, it also varies. Na? You will say like when you see other people driving in, bigger cars, owning property, or इतना, going विदेश यात्रा करते हैं बहुत. You feel like, yeah, I am unable to go. These people are having this much of surplus money. I am having, food, I am having career choice, everything. But है कि कुछ मजा नहीं आ रहा है. No, I feel like, left out when people are going for foreign trip or owning luxurious vehicle. Why? See, competition means they will say like nobody is being restricted. Nobody is being restricted on the basis of birth. You are giving maximum liberty that is given consistent with others. Inequality is justifiable. Then why this kind of principle? For the sake of one or some people who feel like apparently dissatisfied, उसके लिए क्यों सोचना है? It will distort the market from the perspective of a supporter of free market economy. This kind of chain principle and all, it's distorting the market system. उसको लगेगा. From the perspective of a socialist, Marxian socialism, he will feel it's just another kind of justification for the free market economy, inequality, capitalism ही तो है, बस nothing else. And there are some feminist critique against this John Rawls theory. वो है कि actually, see, here John Rawls is thinking about abstract individuals. He's fixing human characteristics like that. Through a debate or something, they are arriving at the policy contract. Fine. See, why the affirmative actions are given in the Indian society on the basis of, let's say, socially and economically backward, caste, to some extent, religion, gender. The justification will be like, doing away with, if freedom is given only on paper, liberty is given only on paper, many people won't be able to use it in a substantive way. यानी कि उसमें outcome आ जाए, उसमें it won't be possible. So there shall be intervention from the part of state. Liberty, if you are giving, freedom, if you are giving, if it's merely on paper, outcome नहीं आएगा. So let's say the elements of the patriarchy, just like we study Indian society paper and all. It said that, we'll see it later, some feminist thinkers say family as an institution is intrinsically, discriminating women. Some thoughts are like that, some feminist thought. And also when it comes to the discussion regarding caste and all in Indian society, LPG reforms, statistics suggest when you write papers like social justice, लोग इस्तेमाल करते हैं. It's like the people who belong to the depressed classes, unable to make use, despite LPG reforms came, open economy came, they're unable to make use of it. On paper, you are having no person shall be discriminated only on the basis of something. Different criteria. Equality, nobody is discriminating. Complete liberty नहीं दिया जा सकता. You need intervention from the state. So एक ही one thing, it's like, justice is a kind of complicated concept. You cannot simply arrive at these kind of procedures. बहुत intervention चाहिए होती है. Rawls explicitly doesn't say about any kind of interventions like this. And the very question is, can we arrive at any kind of universal principle? or shall we create principles according to through discussion? See, two ways to discuss. One thing is that you don't know anything about the society. Another way is that you are part and parcel of the society. These group of people discuss and decide what is just at that point. At that point. वो भी तो है ना. It's like कि rather than universal, when you are formulating something, here presumption क्या है? This is a kind of Kantian approach. It's like you believe in absolute principles. You are in search of absolute principle. Okay, you create absolute principle, create policies according to that. We presume that outcome will be inherently just fine. Can we arrive at that? Is there any dichotomy between what is right and wrong? Or is it like it is contextual? That is opposite thought now regarding the people who are relativist. What will work? Suppose you are creating a policy, you presume that it is really good. Let's say some cultural activity which is, let's say, people love it, but it is not environmental friendly. In future, they themselves are going to be affected. But in that case, considering, or it's like there is some element of discrimination associated with it. Suppose the state is going to ban that activity immediately because it is unjust. Maybe the people will protest. Maybe there will be uprisings. So, क्या करेंगे? In that scenario, it's like in the interest of people, like future mein we will persuade slowly but steadily. We'll say that chalo, allowing this practice is just for the time being, but it is just. If you are banning it, it will be creating unjust. भी तो सोच हो सकता है ना. So universal principle means whether we can arrive at it or not. That's the question. So Rawlsian principle is distributive justice. You are in search of certain principle. Any procedure has to be created on that principle only. Institutions have to be created on that principles only, just like an open competition. But because of that competition, nobody shall feel left out. So the principles you like maximum liberty principle, equality, no irrational discrimination, public officers, jobs, everything shall be public places, shall be open for all. Everyone will support it. Inequality, maximum liberty and equality. इसके बीच में अगर suppose there is a conflict, inequality, will you justify? I will justify. Will justify. Ensure that the weakest link's position is not getting further worse. Where minimum prospects, if it is increased, maximized, that is justifiable. So suppose the state is intervening into the market, in the competition, and because of that intervention, if the liberty is compromised, whether it is just or not, it is unjust. मतलब जो weakest link जो है is having dignified existence. In order to bridge the inequality, if you are intervening, it is unjust. Once it is created, when you create something naturally, this principle policy, and its intent of that is never to widen something. Intent is to ensure that liberty shall be promoted not at the cost of minimal standard of living. Just think about the chain principle. Okay, critic side means they will be thinking. We'll see Amartya Sen's idea as well. Critic side means, see, from the it's nothing like capitalism only. It's a justification of free market only. One criticism. But from the perspective of a capitalist, you will say like, yeah, that's fine. Competition you are justifying. Inequality is just. Why you are creating the extent of inequality? Nobody is restricting. Everybody is given liberty. Just like the case, some hypothetical example I discussed. A dhaba wala becoming a hotel chain. वो बोलेगा कि I was not lazy. I had perseverance. I had the courage to overcome the circumstances. Why, in this competition, now you are supporting those people? I was under similar circumstance. And certain things like gender, caste, historical injustices, and open competition means and creating procedure means they won't produce outcome actually, the desired outcome. It's like I was asking, we have the political freedom to participate in election, to become the minister, but we never consider it a choice. An ordinary individual will never consider it a choice because ki nahi hoga. We don't know, historically the power is already in the hands of people. So we'll see. Feminist critic means they say personal is political, personal is public. There is no distinction between private and public life. Private life may through institutions like family or traditions or religion, when people having a particular identity, let's say gender, let's say caste, they are at the receiving end for many years. Suddenly, okay, if you are creating some procedure, outcome cannot be ensured. So this procedural theory, merely creating procedure means outcome won't be there. And also, fundamentally in ethics, you think about absolutism and relativism. This is a kind of absolutist approach only. Means you believe that you can arrive at this kind of principle. So the question is whether there are such principles at all. Should it not be according to the needs of the situation, society? Right? And we will see more critics as we move further when we see Gandhian thoughts and all. See, Gandhian idea means human character is something else. Here means who told human character is like this? Absolutism anywhere means, let's say in ethics or a principle of justice means, we believe we can arrive at some principle of justice, right? So some principles of justice which can never be contested, falsified. Just like in Kant, now when you say stealing is wrong, killing is wrong, lying is wrong, if you say that it is contextual, in some situation it is ethical to lie, it is ethical to kill situation, that is relativism. If you say that there was no other choice, that's why मैंने झूठ बोला, in fact I should have spoken the truth, ने किया है, I did the unethical because of situation, in fact truth is a virtue or a, the principle, lying is means it's an aberration, that is absolutism बस. Got it? No, likewise we are in search of principle. अभी जो बोला है ना, maximum liberty that is consistent with the liberty of others, equality, irrational inequality shall not be there, inequality will be justified to this extent, the chain principle, they are all whatever we have created now, that is a kind of universal principle, that is absolute. Clear? No, no, group outcome in Rawls. I didn't get the here. John Rawls means group nahi. See, it's like applying. See, universal principle means what is right for me, it shall be right for all in that discussion. How to arrive at that? We will be keeping us in different positions. Suppose I am successful, suppose I am failure. Just like the golden rule, na, how should be the principle? So I'm so thinking I don't love to be, betrayed by other. I don't love to be hurt by other, right? So in that, so individuals' rational self-interest becomes the starting point for the principles, and finally that becomes the principle for the group, right? Absolutism, see, absolutism as it is justifies inequality. No. See, don't get confused. See, absolutism where we are saying that equality is justified already. Na? Absolutism in ethics means no irrational discrimination, no person shall be discriminated only on the basis of birth. That's fine, that's absolutism. But the case is that human beings love liberty. Human beings love to grow for self actualization. Liberty, individualism is there. That's the problem of discussion. When you force, you should not think like that you are part of a group. That's not consistent with human nature. You are forcing to say that you are part of the group, you shall not have any individual interest, ऐसे force नहीं कर सकते. So here, consistent with Rawlsian concept of human character, we are trying to reconcile liberty and equality. In that case, in this principle, inequality is justified. Fine. Not absolutism. Ah, yeah, kind of. When you say that constitution will never get amended, see, a bit off context, but still, if you say that basic structure or basic principles of constitution cannot be amended, constitution can be amended. Basic principles cannot be amended means that's Rawlsian. Basic principles cannot be amended. But when we treat constitution as a living document, organic document, maybe in Indian context, I would say, is believed it's a living document, organic document. Even what constitutes the basic structure. See, tomorrow the court feels. Earlier means the parliamentary form of government is a basic structure, part of it. Tomorrow, if the court feels like now we need presidential form of government, after through following all the procedure, we are becoming presidential means हमारे लिए तो अभी ये अच्छा है. We'll say that this is part of the basic structure. That is actually, relativistic. Okay, don't think much. We have the other side. This much is okay ना? अभी मैंने जितना बोला ठीक है ना? See, I don't want to go to discussion on, मतलब ये कि एब्सोल्यूटिज्म रिलेटिविज्म थोड़ा एथिक्स के जोन में चला जाता है, बट प्रिंसिपल्स ओनली. देयर मींस द प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ conduct. Here, principles of governance, that too in the debate between liberty and equality. Still, we believe in principles when it comes to governance. So here, Rawls has created something, and it is very much justified. It not saying that it cannot be criticized. देखो feminist criticism you will see basically है कि देखो you are given somebody is given freedom when the governments make statistical studies. LPG reforms open for everyone. Political participation open for everyone. When you see them statistically, even in the 90s, even in European nations, political participation freedom given, how many women head of states are there? देखते हैं ना. So है कि what is the reason? सब वो देखेगा कि in family, they are trained to believe, just like we study in Indian society. School days से they are trained to believe that they are, gender allocation होता है, role allocation होता है. You are given freedom. Suddenly you get into the public life. You are given something. So okay, historically you didn't possess that. You didn't get the, that equal freedom in the personal life. Suddenly you get into the public life means you will be relatively at a weaker position in comparison with the male counterpart. Similar case can exist with the caste as well. ठीक है ना? That is historically. So this thing it is not being considered. So we will see that later. Okay. Now another thought experiment. Thought experiment of Amartya Sen with some improvisations. Okay. In a family, let's say there are three children, three siblings, A, B, C. Mm, these three siblings, there is one musical instrument, a flute. और फ्लूट जो है ए ए knows how to play it. उसको चलाना आता है. Very good. He's very good at it. B, is like थोड़ा आर्ट क्राफ्ट, गुड इन क्राफ्ट, कोई कोई चीज बनाने में इज टैलेंटेड, क्राफ्ट मेकिंग. सो ही मेक्स, मान लो कि कुछ कुछ ही मेक्स समथिंग, सेल्स इन द मार्केट, पॉकेट मनी मिल जाता है. आउट ऑफ दिस पॉकेट मनी ही परचेस्ड द प्राइमरी गुड्स, है ना, जो फॉर मेकिंग दैट फ्लूट. एंड बेस्ड ऑन द प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ फिजिक्स, सुना है क्या, दिस फ्रीक्वेंसी दैट फ्रीक्वेंसी ही क्रिएटेड, उसने बनाया इन द वेकेशन. मतलब he didn't ask any money from his parents, है उसके आदत है, kind of entrepreneur skill है. He created and उसको दिया A, means वहां पे रखा. A is playing, the family is happy. वो किसका रूम में रखना चाहिए? Three siblings are there. A is going to the parents and telling that ये मेरा रूम में ही रखना चाहिए because musical instrument is meant to play. I am playing, you all will be, family will be happy. So parents may be thinking, what about others? Okay, you'll tell like, see, only I know to play. Means B and C. वो दुखी ना हो जाएगा कि B and C. Okay, I know how to play, and even I can play that kind of music. If they are a bit sad, उस तरह का music also I will play, so that their sadness get reduced. If it is kept with others, means they cannot do those kind of things. I know. Even if they seem like the one who created, na, purchasing the raw materials and created, उसको अगर नहीं मिला है कि 4 of us will be more happy, खाली रख के क्या फायदा? Means 5 out of 4 will be really happy, or at least 3 out of 5 will be really happy. And also is that it's meant for, playing only. खाली रखने से क्या फायदा है? Parents will feel, हाँ, सही तो कह रहा है, this is justified. Okay, you'll feel okay, correct. B is coming. A चला गया, after some time B is coming to parents. He's telling like, keep it in my room. After all, it is the product of my hard work, my talent. You had I not created this, it wouldn't have been here. You will tell like, let it be in my room. I will decide कब उसको देना है. What is the problem with that? Can't I have that much of, decision making power? And if you feel like, if anyone feels, let persuade me. At times it's like, मुझे गाना नहीं सुनना है, but the parents or C or A, they can come and be, let me ask me permission. I should be the owner of it. I should be the owner. I don't have any problem. I should be the owner. It should be kept in my room. Students, मतलब बच्चों का ये होता है, they are very young and okay, where it shall be kept. Even Lionel Messi, after winning the World Cup, for 1 month or something, pura, like a pillow, he kept the World Cup in his room. होता है यार थोड़ा. So B. Parents will seem convinced, na? Earlier they felt what A was saying, it is convincing. When B comes and discusses with them, you'll feel like, yeah, this is convincing. उसके रूम में रखना चाहिए. Earlier that was convincing, this is also convincing. Equally convincing, no? C is coming. C का ऐसा है कि, due to थोड़ा is does not have any kind of special talent like these two. वो भी तो होता है ना? That's quite normal. And academics is also, a bit weak. He comes and tells like, इसका रूम में रखना, उसका रूम में रखना, ऐसे बात नहीं है. Why can't we keep it in the hall, common room? यानी कि मुझे न लगना चाहिए कि today is making a flute, tomorrow will be making something else. So they are creating something new. The B is creating something new. A is having, fan following in school or be talent. Says C feels like for that moment, he immediately feels like I don't have any that kind of unique capacity. I'm part of the family. Suddenly, maybe you might have seen the तारी जमीन पर मूवी. उसमें वो बच्चा ईशानी इज मेकिंग ए पेंटिंग. मतलब इन द बुक जब वो ओपन करता है, यू रिमेंबर ओनली, देयर इज नो प्रॉब्लम, थोड़ा थोड़ा करके द फैमिली स्टैंडिंग टुगेदर, पेरेंट्स एंड द टू सिबलिंग्स स्टैंडिंग टुगेदर, एंड पेंटिंग ऐसे बना है कि वो बाहर ही हो गया एक्चुअली. सो फैमिली, तो उसका, दे वोंट. सो पेरेंट्स विल फील लाइक, यार व्हाई कांट वी कीप इट इन द हॉल? इट्स ऑफ आवर फैमिली ओनली ना. मतलब फैमिली मींस इट्स अ यूनिट. क्यों इसके रूम में रखा, उसके रूम में रखा? Parents, from the perspective of parents, they will feel, "Na, yeah, he's also saying right." Fine. A is utilitarian principle. Okay. B, kind of open market or positive liberal or negative liberal, whatever it may be, no issue. Market system, private ownership. C means kind of socialist principle. Unit, not individualism. We are a group. देखो फैमिली में तो वो चीज हो सकती है, rather at least in family it's possible. फैमिली में तो नहीं निकालता है ना, दैट इज द प्रिंसिपल ऑफ सिविल से सोशलिज्म. So this is Amartya Sen's example with some improvisation. ये तो मेरा नहीं है यार, थोड़ा इम्प्रोवाइजेशन किया है बस. डेली कॉम्प्लीमेंट मत करो, ये किसी दूसरे का है. ओके. सो व्हाट इज द बेस्ट सोल्यूशन? एक सोल्यूशन है क्या, उसको निकालना चाहिए सबको. पेरेंट्स शुड से लाइक यार, तुमको तो बचपन से पाला है, हमारा सामने आके तुम ये चाहिए वो चाहिए बोल रहे हो कि बस. So the case is that when we listen to each of them individually, what Sen is trying to say is, we feel like that principle is universal and absolute. Matlab very clear. Initial means, yeah, it is very clear. This shall be the principle, no change. When you listen to B, you feel like this is absolute. When you listen to C, this is yeah. Better, the people who believe that this principle is absolute, call them, bring them, to a common platform and discuss. So इससे क्या पता चला, from A, B, C, we may feel this principle is absolute. From B, we will see this is absolute. Our inference is that absolute principles of justice is not possible. What is possible? ये होता है कि you call all of them, let's say on January 2026. So January 26 भी है. January 26, Republic Day. So you discuss. And for the time being बोले कि Monday, Tuesday you keep it here in the hall, Wednesday in the kitchen, Thursday in the other room. मतलब कुछ भी बोल दिया, मतलब it was somewhat okay for all, not perfect, somewhat okay for all. Next year, after some time, maybe a bit change will be there, na? So it's better through discussion we can arrive at those principles which are not fully just. Next year, when the people become more, the children grow up a bit more, presume that they think in a much matured way, they discuss, create the principle. So rather than creating the dichotomy between what is just and what is unjust, is it not better to create contextually what is just at a particular point and create institutional mechanisms to implement that and keep on revising whenever it is necessary? There is nothing like absolutely just. There is no dichotomy between what is just and what is unjust. It's a kind of continuum. It's a journey from what is less just and what is more just. Means when parents discuss, initially when they listen to each of them, they felt this is absolute, this is absolute, this is absolute. No. When three absolute comes means we go to kind of relative. We feel that there is no dichotomy between this the just and unjust. It's better bring to them a common platform, discuss, listen to them. We know the situation there. Maybe from the perspective of another person now who is coming as a guest there. ये जब चर्चा चलेगा, you will feel like यार ये लोग क्या कर रहे हैं. You will feel like in my home it is different. We will say like in my home ऐसा है कि मैं जो बोलूंगा वो लोग वही सुनते हैं. He is an absolutist. My absolutist means वो authoritarian, उसको लगेगा कि this is the case. So it's like contextually through discussion. And he will say that in our house as well, we had the discussion. Finally, we arrived at a position that let it be in the room of the one who knows to play. बाकी लोग कभी भी ले सकते हैं. So in that discussion, there can be relativism associated, na? So rather than sticking on to what is just and what is unjust, he will tell like in your house the situation may be different, children may be different, even ourselves we are also different, right? So we will see, in Amartya Sen's thoughts, in his work, idea of justice. In idea of just the concept, the book Idea of Justice was not written, specifically as a critic of Rawlsian theory, but generally, he cites like this kind of, I will say a term, transcendentalism, rather than that, say rather than in ethics. If you feel like I can arrive at, or in principles of justice, you say that I can arrive at absolute principle, I can create mechanisms for implementing that. You can never arrive at that. Mechanism shall be there, but mechanism shall be made use to implement what is contextually just, and it has to be arrived on the basis of democratic discourses, considering the situation of the society. Okay, we will see it in the next class. It's okay, no? What we discussed, we'll see that and make a comparative study, and as an application can think in the Indian context. Bye.